how to crochet this bag. It's super easy and quick. You can get it done in like 30 minutes. It's a really small and cute bag, but you could actually made to measure. And you probably won't get it done if you do it bigger, like 30 minutes. But it's actually really quick because of the mesh stitch. So you can do it any size you want. You can put a cute ribbon on it. And hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Into the materials. For the materials, you're going to need some yarn. This is the yarn I'm using. This is Bernat Baby Sport, I think. It's a variegated yarn. I don't know exactly what the color is called, but I think they only have like 2 colorways of this yarn or something. Maybe more, but according to the ones I saw at Walmart, there's only 2 at Walmart, and I got this from Walmart. So you'll only need like 50 grams of yarn because I made one bag using weight 4 yarn and a 4mm hook that I originally gave away, so I don't have it right now. It's Premier Just Yarn. I used a 4mm hook with it. I'm using a 3.5mm hook. You could use any yarn you want just because this is made to measure pattern. But I recommend going a little more down the hook size, so a little smaller of a hook size than what the yarn recommends, because I feel like the mesh stitches look better like that. You'll also need some scissors to cut the yarn and a stitch marker, of course, so we could track the rounds that we're working in for the bag. So now let's get started with crocheting. So to start, you're just going to grab your yarn and your crochet hook. We're going to get in tension. So just place your crochet hook down first. I'm going to do a center pull, and I picked up some of the yarn so it'd be more comfortable working from it. So you're going to grab your yarn, and you're going to hold your yarn. You're going to grab your hand and wrap it around 2 times, kind of like that, and then take it behind your hand and put it over your pointer finger. So now hold it with your middle finger and thumb, just like that. So this is what it should look like. And then grab your crochet hook, either in a knife tension like this or the pencil grip. I'm just going to use the pencil grip. I actually do both. I usually do the knife grip, but I've been trying to get more into the pencil one because it gets much more like comfortable, and I don't know, I just like it more. So you're going to start with a slip knot. To do that, you're just going to put your hook over your yarn, make a loop like that, just twist it, and then kind of just hold your yarn. Hold that loop over there. Make sure the loop is not like separate from your hand. Just hold the middle of the loop. It doesn't have to be tight on your hook. And then you yarn over like that and pull through and just pull that tail. And now the loop is probably like big on your hook, or maybe it's small. You could loosen it a bit, make it bigger if it's small. To make it smaller, which is probably big, you're just gonna pull the yarn. So just kind of gonna tighten. You don't want it to be too tight. You just want it kind of to like slide around your hook. Now we're going to actually chain. So to chain, you are going to yarn over like this and pull through. Just like that. So yarn over and pull through. Yarn over and pull through. And that's how you chain. You're just going to chain until you have the length that you want for your bag. So yeah, there's not exactly a specific multiple of chains you need to do, but just do a multiple of 2 actually, so the mesh stitches kind of align. But it's alright if you don't do a multiple of 2 and you just don't want to count, because you could just kind of fix it. It might look a little weird on the side if you sit on the mesh round, but you can fix it. So you could just chain any number you want. I'm going to chain, I'll tell you guys like later because I need to see how much is good for my bag, but I'll come back later once I finish chaining. Right now I have 28 chains. It is a little small, but your bag's gonna get like slightly bigger, like maybe about 2 more stitches wider. So this is the width of the bag that you're chaining. So basically this, you might want, it's okay if you do it the exact size you want, because it's not going to increase too much and it's not really going to affect it. But this is 28 chains, it's an even number. So yeah. Now what you're going to do is chain 2 more just like that. And we're going to double crochet into the third chain from our hook. So yarn over, find your third chain. To find your third chain, you're going to count not the loop on your hook, but as you can see, the loop on your hook has a loop under it, so you're going to count from there. It kind of looks like a V. 1, 2, and 3. So this is the third chain from your hook. Using a variegated yarn actually helps it count your stitches, I feel like, because like the stitches are different colors, so it kind of helps. So now you're going to yarn over, and we're going to do a double crochet into that third chain. So this is our third chain. To insert your hook in the middle of the chain, just like that. You want to grab one loop, the top one, like the first half of the V. You're going to yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. If your loop comes off, just put it back like onto your yarn loops and pull through again. So my hook just came off. And if that happens, then you just have to kind of put it back or just undo that stitch and redo it, because I feel like that's easier for beginners. So now you're going to grab your stitch marker, and this is your first stitch of the round. So we're going to mark it. Right here is our first double crochet. You see that there's 2 loops on that loop of your hook. You're going to turn it, and there's a V, which mine is like the white one over there. And you're going to just place your stitch marker. So if you see, it's kind of like on 2 strands of yarn. The first one of the 2 loops on your like yarn. So now you're going to double crochet all down the chain. So you're going to yarn over. Now to insert your hook in the correct spot, look where this stitch is. So this is the full stitch, and this is the chain it's in. So we're going to go into the next chain, which is my like green one, my first green one, in case that helps. And just insert into that top loop of it, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. So now you have 2 double crochets, and to count you just go to the stitch with your stitch marker on it, and that's 1, and then on top of it there's another V, which makes 2, and this loop on your hook doesn't count as a stitch, just like I said before. So that's 2 double crochets. You could also count just like this. You can see that chain has V's on the side. That one doesn't count, but 1 and 2, they kind of have like loops in the not loops, but like spaces in the middle of them. So that also makes it easier. These are the posts of them. So that's a post of a double crochet, or it's just the stitch itself. And now you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into the next chain. So mine is also green again. And yarn over, pull through the chain, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. Now you're going to do another double crochet. Yarn over, insert your hook into that chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. And you're just going to repeat that step all down the chain until you reach the last one. Don't do a double crochet in there. So I'm going to do that off camera and come back when okay, so I double crocheted in every chain down. So now I have like 27 double crochets. So I have 1 chain left, and in this chain we're going to do 3 double crochets. So yarn over, insert into that last chain. Note that this knot is not a chain. So yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over and insert back into that stitch. So into that last stitch there's this loop and the stitch is in it. You're going to go back into that and make a double crochet, and then one more time. So into that stitch, into that chain where the 2 crochets are, just insert and make a double crochet. And right now you have your bag and this little curve at the end, which if your like work is kind of like curling up kind of like that, don't worry about it because it's gonna fix as you crochet into the bag. So yeah, now we're gonna work into the backs of the chains, and we're just going to leave this tail here and ignore it, or you could work over it if you know how to do that. There's not a beginner crocheter, so just yarn over. See that loop? We're not gonna go into there. We're gonna count the double crochet posts. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 double crochet. It's in that area. So yarn over and insert your hook into that 4 double crochets, same place but on the other side. So just pull through. I kind of don't like how mine turned out, so I'm gonna undo it and do it a little tighter. Recommend trying to do this stitch a little bit tight because there might be like a hole between your stitches and you don't want that. So if you do it a little tight, there won't be too big of a hole, just that small hole. And then you're just gonna go into the next stitches, little area there, and double crochet. And then to the next stitches, like that. And you're just gonna repeat down the row. So one more time, yarn over, insert into that area, and pull through, and you're just gonna repeat that down the row until you reach the last stitch. I'm over here, and this end might be a little confusing, so I have like 2 stitches left. Double crochet into that almost like last one, and I have 1 left now. So for that last one, where the stitch marker is on, you're going to do 2 double crochets there. So yarn over, insert into that last. Remember, this chain over here is not a stitch. And then insert another double crochet into there. Okay, now what we're going to do is insert our hook into where that stitch marker is. That's pretty simple. It's just 2 loops. And try to like do the stitch really tightly because we don't want it to be loose. And then, because if it's loose, we're gonna get confused and just add stitches. Pull through that loop and then pull that one too. So this is called a slip stitch, and we did it into our. You might want to tighten it even more like that because we don't want it to be loose because then we're gonna get our stitch marker off. And now we're going to start round 2, which is also a double crochet round. So chain 2. I don't know why my yarn keeps on getting off of my hook. And then you're going to do a double crochet into the stitch we slip stitch into that stitch over there. Just do a double crochet. And then double crochet into the next stitch. So with 2 loops to the V of the next stitch. And just keep on inserting those double crochets into the stitches, and you're going to do that all around your work. So just keep on doing this step into those V's of your work, those 2 loops. Make sure it's 2 loops because you don't want to have like random loops showing through your stitches. If you don't only get like 1 loop, then you're gonna have some. So this is what it's gonna look like. Where you did the stitches, and this is where you still have to do them. So it looks like 2 rows kind of, and this is 3. But you're going to keep on working around until you reach the end, and then you're going to do those V's at the end and down the other side. So basically in a circle until you reach your stitch marker, which I forgot to tell you to place, but it just goes over where, like, after the chain 2, there's this stitch minus the green one, your first stitch. Just place it there. Now you're just going to double crochet around until you reach your stitch marker. So yeah, just do that and I'll be back. Now I'm done working around, and this is what my bag looks like so far. And this is why we tied in this slip stitch, because you can see that tiny stitch there, but we're not going to work into it like a light pink one. And now you're going to just insert your hook into where you put your stitch marker, and again, really tightly just slip stitch and then pull to tighten even more, and then take your stitch marker off. So now we're going to start doing the mesh design for our bag. Now for this part, you're going to chain 4. So that's going to create a mesh stitch. So what we're going to do is place our stitch marker into the 3rd chain. So as you can see, that's chain 1 from our hook. From the bottom, it's 1, 2, 3, and into that 3rd one, just place the stitch marker into the right loop of it. So just like that. Now what you're going to do is skip the stitch you slip stitched into, so this one, and the next stitch, so this one, and go into the 3rd stitch and do a double crochet. So now it just gets even simpler. So just chain 1. As you can see, this bag is only made up of 3 stitches, a chain, a double crochet, and a slip stitch. So then you're going to skip 1 stitch and then double crochet into the next one. And then chain 1, skip 1 stitch and double crochet. Even this mesh row is going to be more confusing than the rest of the mesh rows, but you're just going to repeat that around. So chain 1, skip a stitch and double crochet. Don't do your chains too tight because that might result in your bag kind of like shrinking in. The bottom will be really big and then the top will be small, and that won't look good. So just don't do your chain stitches a little loose. Try to make them look the same as your double crochets, and just do the mesh stitches around until you reach your stitch marker. So if you did an even number of chains, at the end of your work you should have 1 stitch left. So you're going to chain 1 just like I did, and now we're going to tightly slip stitch into that loop that's marked by it. So this is just 1 loop, and it's okay if it stretches out because it's going to be the side of the bag, or maybe even the back, matters on where yours ends up to be, but it's like fine, it's not going to really affect. And if you like stretch it out a bit, it's kind of going to, because now we're going to repeat this round over and over until we have the length of the bag that we want. So chain 4, this time instead of skipping 2, you're just going to go into that first double crochet you see. So that one, just insert. And now place your stitch marker into the 3rd chain, just like that, and repeat the mesh stitch around. So chain 1 and double crochet into the next double crochet after your chain. So this is like really simple and repetitive, so just keep on doing that around the bag until you get to the end of it and have 1 chain left. Now I have 1 stitch left, 1 chain, so I'm going to chain 1, insert my hook into that slip stitch. So unfortunately my work is kind of shrinking in, as you can see, so I'm going to kind of stretch it out a bit and try to work looser chains and double crochet, so it just stays the same and goes up. But you're going to repeat that round until you have the length of your bag that you want, and I'll tell you a bit later how many rounds I think. So I think this length is about pretty good for my bag. I want like a really small bag, just kind of like a pouch actually, but I mean it's pretty good. I could like really actually fit a crochet hook, which is not great, but I have like so many crochet bags. I have a short showing all of them, but I have made a few more recently, so I have like a bunch of crochet bags and I don't have a really small one, so I need a small one. So now we're over here, and what we're going to do, now we're going to loosely slip stitch into this space and then double crochet. So just loosely do slip stitches until you're about where you want like half of the strap. So about the width of half a strap. So I want about 4 mesh stitches for my strap. So I slip stitch through 2, and now we're going to chain 4. I'm actually gonna hold my yarn like this because I don't know. I just crocheted the back like that mostly actually. And now we're going to go. Now this part is very thick because we slip stitch, but just go under that one loop over there and then drill all those thick loops and just double crochet over them, and then just do that. Chain 1, double crochet in loops. I want only 4 stitches, so only my first 2 are thick and my next 2 are not. So now it's our first row of our strap. Half of your strap should be on one side of your bag and half of your strap will be on the other. I'm going to work rows of mesh stitches. So to do that, I'm going to chain 4 and turn. My yarn's getting a bit tangled. Okay, I fixed the tangle in my yarn. So after you chain 4 and turn, you go not into that first double crochet, but into the second double crochet, and just double crochet and continue doing the mesh stitch until you reach your last double crochet, and now you've got this. Chain 1 and into that second chain, just insert anywhere in that second chain you want and just pull through, and you're going to repeat doing that row. So chain 4, turn, go into the second double crochet and double crochet and do the mesh stitch until you almost reach the ends. Chain 1 and go into the second chain, double crochet. So repeat those rows until your strap goes like all around as long as you want and comes back here, and then we'll connect it to the other side of the back. So I'm just going to do that until my strap to go over like that and connect over there. So as I said, I'm making my bag as kind of like a small pouch. So I feel like it's enough for the strap. It's not for like putting on my shoulder or anything. It's just as like a mini like example of a bag kind of for the tutorial. So now what we're going to do is fasten off our work. So to fasten off, you're going to insert your hook over there and chain 1 and grab your yarn and leave a bit of a tail for sewing, and just cut and pull that tail, about this much of a tail for sewing, and just tighten over there so it doesn't come undone. And now grab your yarn needle, which I forgot to mention, but I'll write it. Okay, so this is a yarn needle, and we're going to insert it through and go to half your bag. So I have like 2 stitches on each side for my strap, so I'm going to go into that double crochet and kind of sew it, make sure it's not, and you're just going to sew. I'm not best at showing how to sew because I don't love doing it, and I always try to find ways things no sew, and you can just slip stitch the sides together if you not to do that, but I feel like it'll be just easier for beginners to sew the strap. So this is just how you do it. Go through the stitches and pull through. Try to make it not very like a seam, I guess, which is hard to do because, as I said, I'm not great at sewing. But anyways, just keep on doing that until you reach the end of your sewing your strap on. So I'm done sewing my strap on, and to make sure it doesn't come undone. I'm going to go back through those last stitches I sewed through and leave a little bit of a loop, insert my needle back, and pull through. This is more of like a seam. I can't really explain sewing because it's hard for me to explain. But now we're going to weave in our end. So you're just going to go down with your yarn through the stitches like that and just pass it through some loops. Like that. Cut. And now your bag is all complete. Thanks for watching. And this is episode 1 of my spring series. So I'm going to try to put, I already have another pattern planned, so I feel like it'll look good on the back, so I'm going to quickly put it on. So this is a quick sneak peek of one of my tutorials, the next tutorials that you might see soon. I don't know if it's going to be my next one, but I just thought since you guys came this far in the video, I'll just show it. And I only want to have one of them, so thanks for watching and bye!